When I was younger, middle school, my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, my brother, my grandparents all went to this little resort in the mountains of West Virginia. And while we were there, my grandfather ordered something called Hasenpfeffer, which is a German rabbit stew served with spätzle and other German side dishes. And I got to try rabbit for the first time. And I thought it was really, really tasty. So we have been thinking about getting rabbits for meat for some time, but I came to the realization that Everett has never actually had rabbit. So I figured this would be a really, really great gateway meal to whether or not the rabbit question, what the answer to the rabbit question should be. Should we get them or should we not? I didn't want to commit and then have him decide I hate rabbit. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see what he thinks, and we'll decide how we're going to proceed. So for the marinade, I mixed a cup of red wine with a cup of chicken stock and a cup of water. And we're just going to turn this on kind of a medium. And we're going to start by adding, we have a couple sprigs of thyme, a couple sprigs of fresh rosemary, and 3 bay leaves. I'm using 3 bay leaves as opposed to 2 because my bay leaves are a little old and I want to make sure that I get the bay leaf flavor. We're going to add some salt to that, some scallions that I've sliced up, 3 cloves of garlic that have been minced, and this is the really cool part. In this I have a tablespoon of peppercorns, a tablespoon of juniper berries, and 4 allspice little, I guess, berries, whole allspices. And I'm going to use my pestle and I'm going to crush them up because they need to be crushed. I've never actually done this before, so this is all new to me. It smells really interesting because you get the pepper and the allspice. Juniper berries have a really fresh kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like a real fresh, herbally aroma to them. I am no apothecary. I have never actually used a mortar and pestle before, so this is all new to me. Ah, there we go. I probably should have looked up a YouTube video on how to do this before I actually started doing it. That makes sense. Think about what you've seen in the movies, Miranda. I am one step closer to being a medieval herbologist now. What an interesting smell. This is a really interesting, not like bad interesting. Interesting is a really loaded word. It's just, you've got like this pungent smell from the peppercorns, and you have that really wonderful kind of autumnal smell from the allspice, because let's just face it, allspice smells like autumn. And then you have this really fresh herbal smell from the juniper berries, and they're just kind of melding together, and it's really interesting, and I'm really interested to see what this marinade ends up smelling like or tasting like. So I just added all those crushed herbs, and it also wants me to add some cloves. I'm just going to add a couple cloves to that. It's really interesting to me to see where the different spices come from, because the company that I get frequently tells you, where I get my spices from, frequently tells you, like, your juniper berries are from Albania. Your clothes are from Madagascar. It's a very interesting little geography lesson. I'm just gonna whisk that together. And we're gonna bring it to a simmer. And then once it's simmered together, we're gonna let it cool to room temperature, and we're gonna add it to Mr. Rabbit. Or Mrs. Rabbit, not really sure. Now that that has been marinating for about 7 hours, I believe, we're going to start by this portion of it by frying up some bacon. Once we fry up the bacon, that's gonna cause some fat to render, and then we're going to dredge our rabbit pieces and brown them. The process will make more sense as we go forward, but for the time being, we're just gonna fry some bacon. And we're gonna fry it up, and then once we get a little bit done, we get some fat going. We're gonna throw in some shallots that I always have a hard time. I know what they are. I know the difference. Scallions are the little green ones, and shallots are the little purpley ones. So we're gonna kind of let this do its thing. I cut these up into rough chunks. It's about 1/3 of a pound of bacon. And we're gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna spread this all out so I can get lots of surface area going. Unlike many of the other meals that we've made together, I've never made this before, so we're learning together at this point. Most everything I've cooked for you is stuff I've cooked before, so this is going to be interesting. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to add this diced shallots. Kind of let it do its thing. What you're seeing going on is multitasking. It's been a long day at the Lay Shaw homestead today. I don't know if you can see behind me, but we have a shiny new dishwasher. The job's not 100% done yet. It's like 95% finished. The hole that the previous owner had for the dishwasher was a little bit, about 1.5 inches too big, so we had to add a filler strip. Well, we didn't have a filler strip, so we improvised, and I used a piece of 2x2, which fit beautifully, but is not the prettiest, so I'm gonna have to go get some, molding and jazz it up. I'm super stoked about it in my new dishwasher. All right, we're gonna let that go just a little bit longer because the bacon is not quite where I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off because the residual heat from the Dutch oven will continue to cook the bacon while it's sitting here. So I have about a cup of flour here, which you saw me measuring out earlier. And I have some salt and pepper. So we're gonna kind of whisk that up. I'm probably gonna salt and pepper it again later because I like stuff to be flavorful. We'll do it this way. So in my little tub here, I have my pieces of rabbit that have been sitting for the last 7 hours, 8 hours, marinating. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of shake them off and we're going to dredge them in the flour. I'm going to get them nice and coated because in a second we're going to go brown them. This part was one of those things I did not show you guys because, quite frankly, I've never butchered a rabbit before. And I figured there might be like some really embarrassing moments. I just did not want to immortalize that in perpetuity. So we left it potentially embarrassing and kind of gross. I mean, like, honestly, I don't like butchering meat or cutting up meat into pieces, but that's one of those things you have to do it sometimes. I will say this, the marinade has been a really, it's a really interesting, lovely smell. And it's been all over our house all day. And it's been kind of nice. Made our house very fragrant. Like, I did not think that all of those things mixed together would make such a nice smelling thing, but they did. Got super gooey hands now. Dishwasher is making draining noises. Okay, so now we're gonna head back over to the oven, the stove, and remove the bacon from heat and use the rendered fat to brown our pieces of rabbit. So, come with me, and you'll be in a world of delicious German cooking. As a general rule, I really enjoy German food. Probably because my family is incredibly German. Except for the side that's English. We do have a side that's English and Welsh, but mostly German. I come from a family of Leys and Muse and Hans and, you know, all sorts of interesting Germanic last names. So we're going to turn that back on. We're going to keep out our handy dandy tongs. We're going to let the bacon sit over here. The the bacon will become very important in the future. And we're going to start browning our rabbit pieces. You don't want to put too many in at a time because we don't want to crowd the pot. And while it's on this side, I'm going to season this side. Because I was not happy with my flour to salt to pepper ratio earlier. Do some Dutch oven Tetris. Get a little more going on here. Incidentally, the thing you're always seeing me reach for is my handy dandy salt pig. I love a good salt pig. It keeps your salt nice and dry, prevents it from clumping. It allows you to keep salt, like sea salt and stuff like that, in a environment that's kind of dry. I love it. I really think this part is more about searing the meat so it doesn't dry out than it is about like breading it. At least I hope that's the case. We'll see. What's going to happen is once we finish the browning, the searing, I'm going to add the marinade back to the mixture, and it's going to cook inside the marinade for about an hour, and then we'll remove the pieces. And then once we've removed the pieces, we are going to mix the marinade. My understanding is we're going to mix the marinade with some other ingredients like the bacon, the shallots, and some sour cream to create like a creamy sauce that goes on top of the meat. That's what I think is going to happen. I hope that's what's going to happen. It sounds really good. Kind of weird. The color of the meat was not normal. It was not this purple, but you use a red wine, and it kind of dyed everything. Probably going to use some of this rabbit to make a rabbit pot pie, or like rabbit pies. This this week because why not? So we're gonna just make the little leggy bits, the little leggies. We're gonna turn those into Hasenpfeffer and turn the rest of it into something else because I want Everett to get the full rabbit eating experience before we go out and buy a breeding trio. Right now it is going very rapidly. It's boiling very rapidly. And we want it to more of a simmer. So we're going to turn it to low. We're going to bring it down to a simmer. I'm going to put the cap on it. And we're going to let it sit and cook for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to flip it over and we're going to cook the other side. And in about an hour, or about a full hour, we should have some Hasenpfeffer. So the rabbit's been cooking for about 40 minutes or so, and that is very warm. Not uncomfortable warm, just probably not pick up with your bare hand warm. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fish out my bay leaves because who wants to eat a bay leaf? I mean, really? That's kind of gross. Just doesn't, it has the texture of fall, but you know, none of the flavor. If you notice, the rabbit is starting to kind of like shrink off the bone. I guess that's a good sign. I don't know. But the sauce is really starting to take on this lovely rich brown color, which I'm very pleased with because originally I thought, oh god, this is going to be purple and it's going to be obscene looking. But it's got this lovely rich brown tone to it, and I think it looks delightful. I've set some hot water going, some water boiling, which it is boiling. Yay. And we're gonna add our, I cheated. Well, I can make no, they cannot. These people do not make it easy to get into. Well, I can make egg pasta. I knew that with the installation of the garbage disposal, or not the garbage disposal, the dishwasher, I probably would not want to make egg pasta, which is true. So I bought some. I'm going to show you guys how to make egg noodles in a later, traditional German egg noodles in a later video. Because they're one of those staples in my family. I've seen spätzle done a couple ways. Sometimes it's done and it looks kind of like little rice pellets. I'm gonna have to add more water to that. Water boiled away. Oh, please. You two need to work it out. Go a little while longer. Probably another 20 minutes or so. By the time the spätzle is done and sauerkraut is done, the rabbit should be finished. And the process of making the sauce goes pretty quickly after you've got the rabbit finished. Okay, so the spätzle's almost finished cooking. The rabbit appears to be done. So, we're going to give it like 2 more minutes. I'm going to drain the spätzle, plate it, start cooking the sauerkraut in the same container because why pull out another dish? And then while that's cooking, because it shouldn't take very long for the sauerkraut to cook, I'm going to go ahead and start the sauce. So I just went through and I kind of picked out the big chunks of things. It said to strain it of solids. Oh well, I don't have that kind of strainer. And it's okay, a little rosemary didn't hurt anybody. But these little stems might not be so appetizing. So I'm kind of picking those out. I'm looking for anything big that nobody wants to eat. Add the sour cream. Really good, honestly. I'm pretty pleased with the way this has turned out. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. And it smells really good. Got a trusty ladle. Just kind of ladle this on top. Turn it down. Kind of our belated anniversary dinner. We obviously did not get to go out because of COVID, so we're having it now. That is a pretty meal. I'm pretty pleased with that. I think this one needs a little more sauce though. You can never have enough sauce. And now it's the moment of truth. So I get to see Everett try rabbit for the first time. Okay, you're just just eating the noodles at this point.
Mustache getting in my nose. Definitely gamey, but I'm okay with that because I love venison. So.
It's definitely a lot gamier than chicken, but
Yeah. Oh, if I'm being perfectly honest, I hate to sound cliche, but it tastes kind of like chicken.
But it reminds me more of those heritage chickens we get from the grocery store, as opposed to like the chickens that you just get, like the plain pasture, the plain production chickens. It reminds me of those that
Ooh, okay.
chicken we ate earlier this year.
A little warm. My teeth were letting me know that one.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's mine. Totally mine. It's good. Tastes a lot like chicken, to be perfectly honest. Very reminiscent of venison, too.
Would you eat it again?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, there's the verdict, guys. Rabbit.
That's pretty good.
Rabbit is a winner.
I'm not surprised. I like gamey meat. I've always been a huge fan of venison, so yeah, I was pretty sure I would like this. I think I would have been more surprised if I didn't. It's really a good dish. Everything, the marinade is kind of tangy. Nice spice from the pepper.
Are we even still recording?
Well, the life wasn't watching this, yes.
Okay, you want to turn it to me? Alright, well, so we had a positive verdict, and we'll see where we go from there. You guys have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.